Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of Vijeo Designer Training. I'm your host, Leandro Mal, and in this video what we're gonna see is how we can use the recipes on the software. So let's go to the presentation. So what I'm going to do is just to give you getting started with the recipes. Okay. So let's create a new project. Recipes, next. Yeah, let's use this one. No, I got HMISTU with me. Yes, the IP address is going to be 192.168.1.65, 2.5, 192.168.1.1. Next, finish. Okay, so this is the environment. The configuration for the IP address is here. Okay, I'm going to enable this for the security, for the download over Ethernet, and then I'm going to specify the download over Ethernet. Delete all data, and that's fine. So now what we need to do is to play with the recipes. The recipes are located here. And here, the thing that we need to do is to add a new recipe group. It will add a recipe group over here. And here on the recipes, we have, let me just check, properties, recipe control here. So this is the recipe control. The recipe control. So basically, it's the one that's going to launch or it's going to take care of the recipe. So it's going to load the recipe, say that the recipe, send that to the controller, take a snapshot from the controller. So everything is going to be done through this one. Okay, you can create another one in case you want to, so you can have like a dual control of multiple recipes at the same time. So as soon as you got this one, it will have their own variables on the variables, okay, here on the system. So if we create this recipe control, that will have the possibility also to see different variables. Okay, just hold on a second. So now, in order to use the recipes, what we need is to have some ingredients. Okay, we just need to create a recipe and ingredients. It's like making a cake. So ingredients will be the flour, will be the butter, will be the sugar, chocolate, vanilla, whatever you want. And then in order to have different recipes, you have like a variation of those ingredients, different amounts. Okay, so we can have the possibility to do that. If we move this to an engineering view, what we can do is, okay, for example, have a control system. I have a PID control, and I have the proportional, integral, and derivative as a parameter. And then if I want different behaviors on my control, I can have this recipe for that. Okay, so let's create that. So on my variables, imagine that this came from a PLC. So I'm going to create a folder for PLC or my PLC. It's going to be everything internal, but we can play with it. So, sorry, I just need to create it inside this. So I'm going to create a new variable. So it's going to be IKP. I'm going to create another one, IDI, and another one, oops, another one, DI, oh, I did it. Okay, so I have my three components for the PID here already in my PLC. And then we can have another thing we just leave it like this. So I got these values, or I have this parameter coming from the PLC. Now what we need to do is to create a recipe for this. So you have right click over here, new recipe. I have already done that. So here I can rename this, okay, recipe group for, I don't know, control. Okay, so here is the recipe control. So here we just need to add different recipes, the ingredients. So add new ingredients, add new ingredients. So here I'm going to add the KP, TD, derivative, and integral part, TR. So I got this. Okay. So once you got those ingredients under your recipe group, the system will add those as an internal variable. So these one are different. So you, as soon as you create this, you have the variables coming from the PLC, and then the system will create another variables. Okay, these variables are the one that you can see and play with, and then send to one side to the other. Okay. So I got this now. I created this. I have this recipe. So what I can do is, for example, we can put only KP. So this one's gonna be the value derivative 0, and this one's gonna be 1. No, 1 and 0. I need to check the formula. Because I believe the derivative is divided, but it depends on the controller inside the PLC. But anyway, so only KP, so this one's going to be like 100. Okay. Then if I want another type, for example, fast response for the system, I can use, I don't know, this one, a lower value, I don't know, 10, just different values. Okay. And this one's going to be 50. Okay, so this is going to be like a fast response. I'm going to have like a overshoot how it is, like that. So I have created this one. This one's going to be like a high value, this one something, and this one something. Just values. Okay, doesn't matter at the moment. So here is the label. This is the label that we're gonna see on the screen, the one that we have the possibility to select. So now on the system, what we need is to select the group, the recipe, and then the ingredients. That would be the things. So each group has their own ID. Okay. So this is the one thing that we need to remember when we have multiples recipes. Because in this case, you can have this one for control, and then you have like a configuration for your general machine, whatever. Okay, so now we're going to here. On the tool chest, I'm going to put myself here. On the tool chest, what we have is the recipes folder, and here we have a lot of things that we can play with. Okay, so we have these small recipes that basically will help us to select the things that we want to. Okay, so let's have a simulate. So here what we can do is to select the recipe group. Okay, the recipe group 1, which is this label. So maybe we can change this to something more control machine. Okay, and then the recipe. Okay, only KP. Here you can see the values. if you select all of them, over here you can see the different recipes. So only KP, fast response, and you can see can change and overshoot. Okay, this is going to be sent to the controller. So now what I'm going to do, let's see if I can. This option is no longer available. So what you can do now is to predefine something over here. So imagine that when you launch this screen, okay, you want something to appear here. So what you can do is to select new action, event on open, next, and here destination is gonna be the recipe control default. Here you have the things. Okay, so here I'm going to select the recipe group number one, add, and then I'm going to change this to recipe number. The recipe number is going to be the number 3. So it will add those information quickly as soon as I open this screen. So now I'm going to launch this. And here you can see that the control machine and overshoot is already defined and selected. Okay. Here probably what we need to do is to also make the action for load. Okay, because we need to load the information. So here in recipe control, we just need to check the operation. And the operation, we just need to define the option for load that recipe selected. So as I don't remember which is the number, we have different things to do. We can go to the help, or we can go over here to this one, for example, load, double click and select which is the operation, which is number 4. So here again, operation number 4. And I believe I receive number operation and I receive group number. Okay. So receive group number 1, receive number 3, and operation 4 to load. So as soon as I open this, it will load the actual recipe. Okay. So this is 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So now if I go back here and simulate, it will be in the other screen. It will load automatically the things. Okay, and overshoot, which is number 3. So now that you got this, that will be basically it. So we can start by this. So what I'm going to do now is to start playing around. So the receive group, you can play with it or predefine that. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. You can play with that one. It's totally fine, it will do the things. But what I want to do is to show you the behaviors. So this is going to be the ingredient small, the small view. Then what I'm going to do is to recipe select, because the group will be already defined by this part over here, by the action. Okay, and then we can have the, what I'm going to do is to put this over here and define and put over here the variables from the PLC in this case. KP. Okay. Control C, Control V. Enable input. Okay. This is going to be TD. This is going to be TI. Okay. KP. Oops. TD. Was today this one? Yes. And this is going to be TI. So this is the information coming from the PLC. Or imagine that it's the PLC. Okay. PLC. Okay, so I got this information. Now, the variables the values that we're going to be seeing here are related to the values coming from here, which are all internal variables. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to show you the behavior for sending information to the PLC or not. So for that, what we have is the load operation. We have the send operation. We have the save and a snapshot. So these one are the main one. Okay, so we have load is to load the recipe, but by default I believe it's already selected. No, here on that one we just need to auto load recipe off. No, if you put true, it will do also this. Okay, so in this case I'm going to put this as false. Okay, so I can show this operation. So if we enter over here, you're to find the recipe control default dot operation has different values. So the 4 is for load, to send to the controller is number 1, to save the recipe is number 8, and to make a snapshot is number 2. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to there we go. So now here you can see that I changed, so I'm going to load. It's automatically done because it's okay, it's automatically done. Okay, it's done automatically. It's fine. So it changed, overshoot, but the value on the PLC doesn't change. Okay, so all we need to do is to send this to the controller because it's automatically load here. So send, and it will send the information to the PLC. Send. Now, imagine that you have overshoot and you have play with the PLC and they give you 60, 45, and 10. In this case, what you need to do is to move the value from the PLC to the recipe. So what you need to do is to make a snapshot and then save. Then if you go to another values, you see that the values is stored. Okay. Then you have the same or different values. Okay, you have the possibility to create new recipes. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. Oops. In case you want to, that's the problem having a small HMI. You can create new recipe. Here I believe we just need to put this one in true. Let's give it a go. Simulate. Yes. Imagine that you have a new configuration for something new. So imagine that you have new values 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. In this case, doesn't mean anything at all. So you can create a new recipe, okay, and snapshot, and then here I believe I can put this new config, save, and you have new config, and it's automatically done. Okay, easy. This is how you can create a new recipe. Now you want to delete it, totally fine. So if you want to delete the recipe, you have this option to delete. So on create new, it doesn't show anything, it's just something that we need to, or go to the variables recipe group. Recipe group control. No, it doesn't show. I believe we need to use this button. Okay, so on delete, it has the operation 16. So now what I'm going to do is to simulate this here, and I don't know, I create a new one. Delete me, please. Okay, I'm going to put some value, 6, snapshot, save. Okay. So imagine that now I'm going to delete me, please. And now what we need to do is to select one and then send back. So I believe I showed most of the things. Now the other thing is, if you don't want to show this, okay, you can avoid having that. So we can delete this one and show directly the values like this. Let's see, Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. This is going to be the recipe. So instead of going to the PLC, we just need to go to the one created on the controller, internally, on the recipe group control. Okay. Recipe group control, TD. Recipe group control, TI. So now, as soon as we select this will update, but this one no, because this one are for the recipe. So now if I simulate, okay, you see, and then I load, this is what we need. So in this case, I need to load, that one is automatically load. So here I load the things. If you want this to change automatically, then here we just need to put auto load, so it will send the command to load, okay, for operation. So now I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to change, you can see it changed automatically, path response. So I'm going to create a new one, I'm going to change this 55, 9 and 5, snapshot, save, and it's over here. Okay, so I believe I showed most of the things, but you can play with it. So there are also icons in case you want to. You can see there, change that, and this one is the delete, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So instead of having the number, that's it. The other thing is that, for example, you can put this together, select one, load and send, and then the other one have the snapshot and then save. But probably in those cases, I would probably recommend to have like a delay, 1 second, 2 seconds, and then proceed with the other options. Okay, so I believe I covered most of the things for this. And then I will probably create how to import and export that on a video, but this is how you can get started with the recipes inside Vijeo Designer or Vijeo Designer Basic. The process is going to be the same for the two of them. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.